It'll be interesting to see what they plan to say. Let's actually go to where those are going to be held. Josh Albertus is live in the media room where those pressers will be held. Josh, can you kind of walk us through what's happening there right now?
Yeah, so as you guys already kind of alluded to, we are expecting on Zoom or via virtual format to hear from the civil attorneys as well as the Lyoya family on their end. But here in the media room, we are going to be expecting to hear from the prosecution and possibly the defense as well. I think the biggest question is really going to be whether or not Prosecutor Becker is going to address whether or not he's going to retrial this, whether he's going to call a new trial in the wake of this hung jury. So we're going to have to wait and see that. But it's interesting what we're going to see from both them as well as outside as well. I mean, we had been hearing the possibility for demonstrations the evening of the verdict day, whatever day that may have been. Now that we have perhaps as close as we're going to get to a verdict in this current case, whether or not that's going to happen, whether that's going to materialize, and whether or not we're going to see those kind of demonstrations and kind of some of the tension that we saw even just a couple days ago when we had maybe been expecting a verdict, but we didn't actually get one.
Well, Josh, I'm curious because you've also been covering this trial since day one. I'm curious, as this news comes out that a mistrial has been declared, from your perspective, what were the reactions where you were at in the courthouse as this happened?
Yeah, so we were actually outside the courtroom when that happened. I mean, we started to see deputies like pull back the line, where the line had been formed with that kind of roped off area. So we had kind of gotten a little bit of an indication something was going to happen here. What at the point we didn't know, but even if we were on the 10th floor, I kind of looked down onto the street to see kind of what was transpiring at the time. You know, as it was happening, it was pretty, as it had been all morning, pretty quiet. But I know whether or not things have changed, we're going to have to see what transpires over the rest of the day. As I mentioned, there may be more demonstrations this afternoon, given that we're in not a verdict day, but, you know, kind of a close to this trial kind of day. And what happens there, I mean, I think it's anybody's guess, but it's certainly come to a point over the last week that the community very much is invested in this case on either side or even in the middle. We heard a lot of people, you know, kind of on this spectrum. There were people who were saying, you know, even if they were, you know, supportive of one side or the other, even if they were not, a lot of people were indicating to us, you know, they just hoped things would be peaceful, that the community would find a way to move forward, whether the verdict was guilty, whether it was acquitted, or whether or not we had a hung jury. Whatever the final outcome was, they were hoping that this was going to remain peaceful and that the city was going to be able to continue to move forward and kind of heal after whatever happened at the end of this trial.
And Josh, I know a lot of people are anxious to hear from both sides. Do we know relatively any idea of what time we could be hearing from Prosecutor Becker or the Lyoya family?
Yeah, we're expecting to hear from the family and their civil attorneys within the next hour, but when it comes to the prosecutor and possibly the defense as well coming here, we are not aware of exactly when that is going to happen. We're kind of staking out here to see when that is going to happen, but we're not sure of an exact timeline. We just know that the family is expected to be on that virtual presser within the hour.
All right, that is Josh Albertus live from the briefing room that we will see what happens as we expect all of those press conferences here in just a second. Joining us